Welcome to the Lost and Found Tarot channel. Today I'll cast a spread of tarot cards based on a movie and do a breakdown of what the tarot is trying to show me about what happens in that movie. Any and every level of reader can benefit from this type of practice. If you are intimidated by large, free-form kind of spreads, this is a great way to try it out. The best part is that we as readers can verify the situation and events because we are basing them off a movie. We get full transparency of the situation because we get to watch it all play out. For this episode, I chose The Princess Bride, movie from 1989. This is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I was really curious about what the tarot would have to say about it. If you haven't seen it and don't want the plot spoiled for you, maybe finish this video after you get a chance to watch it, because I'll be making references, lots of references. So what I do is I meditate on the movie as I start to shuffle. I'm going to use the 7x3 spread, 3 rows of 7, plus a hidden card that will come from the bottom of the deck. This is a spread that was taught to me by my teacher and mentor, and if you master it, it will give you so much information. It is the perfect setting to let your intuition really run wild. I shuffle in my own way, with the card layout in my mind so the deck knows what I need to take from it. I will ask as I shuffle, show me what happens in the movie. I'll think about what I remember from it. I rotate my thoughts as my hands move and program the deck. One way you can look at tarot when you're shuffling is to imagine that there is a search engine for the collective subconscious that you're trying to access. It guides my hands, but ultimately it's the higher version of myself pulling the cards in the exact right order they need to be in. If there's anything at all you should take away from this, it's that as long as you wholeheartedly trust that the cards are going to come out in exactly the perfect order for the reading at hand, you will never be wrong. As you can see, it takes me a very long time to get my signal to stop shuffling. For me, the stopping point is hard to describe, but it is a sudden feeling to just stop. I don't hear anything or feel anything, it's just right there and then I'm done. I'll just straighten the deck and I'll cast a spread. I flip my cards, that's just my personal style. However you turn your cards is perfect as long as you do it consistently. I put the spread up on screen so we can go through it. I must have seen this movie about a dozen times, and it is just always so good. It has a little bit of everything. Adventure, vengeance, sinister plots, interesting villains, shrieking eels, discovery of love, love lost, love returned, and countless quotes that almost everyone, no matter what generation you come from, can recite. For this reading, since I already knew the plot and timeline of events, I just wanted to see how tarot would take my understanding of the movie and express that on the table. Again, tarot works best when we use it as a mirror. It shows us the truth, and for some reason the truth can be difficult to face. Even when we're shown what we already know, the fact that it is an external confirmation from the collective subconscious feels like an uncomfortable exposure. But we aren't here right now for the serious stuff. Right now, we're just going to practice our reading of larger story-like spreads with fun subject matter. Here are 22 cards on the table, and they all matter, but some are extra important. The center card of this spread always shows us the heart of a matter. It's the keystone of whatever topic is at hand. When you do the spread on your own, you'll want to see how the cards surrounding this one behave. Are they generally positive? Are they generally negative? Are they conflicting? In this spread, we have the world reversed as the center card. And wow, are those surrounding cards ever working over time? We could actually chop off the first and two final columns, and this spread would probably still tell us the story. But let's check out that world reversed. If it was upright, the key themes of this card would be about completion, the achievement of a grand task, and the victory after a struggle. The final card in the majors, this card, is at the end of the hero's journey. Reversed, this shows us that there might be a happily ever after, but the quest is still in motion. There are still challenges to overcome. Most 20th and 21st century fairy tales follow this formula of a protagonist going on a quest or enduring various conflicts, defeating the nemesis, and then collecting a reward. I'm going to jump over to the first card and move through them card by card because the longer I look at the spread, the more each one opens up. And so to keep myself from getting overwhelmed with information, which is very common, I'm going to pull back and just go one at a time. They all blend into each other, which is what we want because there are only 78 cards available to embrace all of human experience. So we have to let them melt down a little bit, if that makes sense. The first two cards of the spread tell us what the situation is. The Knight of Swords reversed has a name in the Golden Dawn tradition as the Prince of the Chariots of the Winds, and this knight is heir of air. It's a synthesis of the mental world of Yetzirah. With intellect, this is a representation of the human mind. This card alone can tell us all that is mental creation, and that's what stories are. None of the characters are real, none of this is true or grounded in reality. The narrator is our King of Wands, an optimistic, established man who is using the essence of the knight to tell the story. Concurrently, the Knight reversed is showing us lost love and a sudden departure. There's also a bitterness. Wesley's bitter because Buttercup appears to have moved on by accepting Humperdinck's marriage proposal. Buttercup is bitter because Wesley, who she loved madly in the beginning of the movie, just packed up, went to seek his fortune. His character thought that he would be worthy of her love if he made something of himself and brought her material security. Meanwhile, her character just wanted to be with him. The Empress reversed, and this is Buttercup, having come from a happy life on a farm, moving to a cold castle. It looks like a step up. She's going to be a queen eventually and never have to work a day in her life. But she's still a shell of a woman. She's beautiful but hollow, which seems to be what Humperdinck prefers in a wife. He doesn't really care that her heart is barren and that growth is no longer happening. The Empress reversed usually shows us a blocked progression, and the growth and develop of something has stopped. The King of Pentacles reversed is an avaricious, bland, corrupt person. And this is Humperdinck in a nutshell. He has all the power and resources at his disposal, and he still chooses to be a dick with his murder plots and various henchmen. He has a lot of other characters do his dirty work, which is also a hallmark trait of this reversed king. We know that under all these layers, this person is incredibly insecure about something, which is part of why they act like this. I'm not justifying the behavior in any way, but every villain has a backstory, a reason why they are the way they are. The movie doesn't get into that, and it's not important to the story that we have any empathy for Humperdinck. We just need a straight-up bad guy. The next card, the Two of Wands reversed, and the Five of Pentacles are working together, but in two different ways. The first way is trouble and domination, and it's how the machine is used to suck the life out of Wesley by the Six-Fingered Man. Wesley's powerless in the pit of despair, and the pentacles there can show us the gears of a machine causing pain and injury. The other story these cards tell is when Buttercup learns that Wesley is alive. Though he is unable to move, she is still loyal to him and prepared to care for him, even under grave circumstances. Older interpretations of this card are actually about marriage and love, swearing oaths to each other to be true under every circumstance, especially sickness and poverty. The Page of Wands is a messenger of good news, usually. In this setting, the page represents a simple aspect of the faithful lover. All the pieces are falling into place as we move down the final column. The page that is true love, being supported in that respect by the Five of Pentacles. The page is standing on the Four of Wands reversed, which is our happily ever after. If it was upright, it would be the same, but in its reversal, it tells us the outcome happens after a delay or a period of struggle, which is what this whole movie's about. The Emperor reversed at the bottom of the column and at the end of the row is the failed plans of Humperdinck and his cronies. The antagonist lost. That's just the way these stories end. But let's go back to the second row. Here we have the Star and the Magician. The Star is the separate hopes, goals, and desires of Buttercup and Wesley. The Star is the classic lover returns card. Wesley uses the desire of the Star through the will of the Magician to get things in motion. His leaving on a quest is what really gets the story going. The Magician is pointing his wand upward to the Knight of Swords reversed, meaning that Wesley has to leave in order to make his desires real. The Magician is also pointing down to the Two of Pentacles. Notice that the infinity loop, or lemniscate, appears over the head of the Magician and is also the hands of the figure in the Two of Pentacles card, implying the taking control of one's destiny. For a humble farm boy, this call of adventure is strong. Next to the Magician, the Judgement card underscores this, being summoned to do something to further one's destiny. Interestingly, the coffins in this card are all in the water, which happens to be where Wesley's journey takes him. He went off to work for the dread pirate Roberts, who he tells us would declare that he would most likely kill him in the morning at the end of every day. Under the Judgement card, we see the Two of Pentacles has ships in the background, which is also neat because ships are where he was and also where he used to follow the boat carrying Buttercup, who was a captive of Vizzini, Inigo, and Fezzik. Humperdinck also lies to Buttercup later, saying that Wesley left on a ship to do his pirate thing, while he was actually being tortured in the Pit of Despair, and that he will send a message to him using 4 of his fastest ships. The Eight of Cups shows us how Buttercup feels forsaken when she's told that Wesley left her again. Meanwhile, Wesley is basically dead, and his new companions, who were formerly his enemies, Fezzik and Inigo, take him to see Miracle Max, a magician who was abandoned and cast away from status in the court. If you watched the previous episode, we went over how the Six of Pentacles isn't just about the exchange of money or energy, it's about power. The one with the power gives only what the receiver needs. The receiver in this case is Wesley. He needs Max to use his power to restore his life force. However, Max can only give so much. Wesley is alive, but has no use of his limbs. The 6 here is one of those cards that sneaks up on you, because it looks so simple and basic. But it actually holds a key to understanding that is so profound it will actually take you to a different place mentally. Cards like that are often called portal cards. They act as a window, and if you let them, they will lead you somewhere. Anyway, we talked a bit about the 4, so let's start our final bottom row. The Moon reversed shows us the fantasy elements in the story, the stuff that just doesn't make any sense in the light of day, or in our rational waking lives. Settings like the Cliffs of Insanity, the Fire Swamp, creatures like the shrieking eels, the rats of unusual size. Mythical or inexplainable phenomena can be shown to us in the Moon reversed. Further, the pursuit of Buttercup's captors by the mysterious man in black happens under the cover of darkness. Next to that, we see the Wheel of Fortune reversed. This one speaks again to the concept of will over destiny, where it touches the magician. Vizzini has a plan and he's sticking to it. Too bad his plans are being thwarted at every turn. No matter which henchman he sets in the pursuer's path, Wesley overcomes them and really throws a wrench in a perfectly planned murder conspiracy. We move along to the Two of Swords reversed. Upright, this would be a dilemma card, but reversed, we get a message that vital information is about to be revealed. Indeed, a blindfolded Buttercup sits silently next to Vizzini in the field, somehow at a table with some goblets and wine that we're supposed to believe are just existing there. The man in black has come to the final trial for this act. It's also notable that Vizzini threatens to cut her throat, so the symbolism of the 2 swords is pretty much on point. The man in black challenges Vizzini to drink from one of the 2 cups, presumably one of which is poisoned. Vizzini falls for the classic blunder and drinks from a cup, and he immediately keels over dead. That Ace of Cups reversed stands in for that. The final card we didn't get to yet is the Nine of Pentacles reversed, which speaks to Buttercup's loneliness and deep sadness, even though her material prospects appear to be good, except for the part where Humperdinck keeps trying to have her killed. Further, the Falcon is hooded, showing another instance of being blindfolded or otherwise kept in the dark about some things. This card doesn't bring up anything new. It echoes the messages in other cards. Overall, we have a good balance of uprights and reversals. It's interesting to see that all of the minor 2 cards are here. 2 of Wands, 2 of Swords, 2 of Pentacles, and over here, the 2 of Cups. That is significant because having all 4 of these cards out indicates a conference or dialogue. Unlike a lot of movies, this one has a narrator all the way through. Finally, the 2 of Cups came from the bottom of the deck and just sits over here. This card does not have an official spot in the spread. Its purpose is to tell us what is unknown or unspoken. A major theme of the movie is true love and how unstoppable a force that is. One would expect the Lover's card to come out here, but the 2 of Cups best describes the relationship between the 2 separate yet very different individuals as being harmonious. Wesley and Buttercup do not think alike, act alike, feel alike, yet they're drawn to each other and together they feel complete. This card also supports restoration and healing that can come from a harmonious union. The caduceus, the staff of Hermes, sits above the figures. Modern meaning of the caduceus is of medicine and healing, which is for sure something that happens later in the movie. Its older meanings include eloquence and skillful communication, obviously because of Hermes, as well as alchemy. This movie is still a classic due to its quotability and the fact that it sticks to a basic storytelling formula. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this, please consider subscribing to know when I release a new breakdown, which I'll try to do every week. If you have some extra thoughts, please feel free to leave a comment below and I'll do my best to respond to it. Thanks a lot. Take care.